Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today I'm with a duo, and they each have totally different backgrounds. One's a traditionally trained harpist and a vocalist and pianist, or is it classically? It's either traditionally or classically. I'm terrible with that. And the other one is a hip-hop artist, and they recently came together to release a project in September called Community, which honestly was a much-needed project in a time of COVID. It was very, very positive, which I really appreciated. So we're definitely going to touch on that. It's my pleasure to introduce Kuf Knotz and Christine Elise.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Of course. So wait, it's classically, it's not traditionally, right? Or is that the one and the same?
Well, I guess it is classically, but they're traditional instruments, so it works both ways.
There we go. So from my understanding, you guys just bumped into each other at a Whole Foods or something?
At a Whole Foods, of all places. It goes down at the Whole Foods.
Yes.
Damn.
I was like, "You're amazing. Do you need a harpist?"
So wait, Christine, did you know of his music beforehand, or were you performing at Whole Foods, or what was going on?
That's a good question. No, I had seen him perform before, and I just at that show put it out there, like, his words are amazing, the message, just like everything I really took in. And then about 2 months later, I saw him in public and said, I can't not say hi and tell him like how much I admired his music. And then I just said it. I was like, if you ever need a harpist, let me know.
That's wild.
He's like, what?
Wait, so you guys live in the same area? Where do you guys even live?
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Okay.
Well, we were at that time, Philadelphia. Now in a place called Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Okay. How far is Philadelphia from New Jersey?
It's about where we're at. It's about an hour from Philly, an hour from New York. We're right in the middle.
Okay. And so, Kuf, you've been making music for like over a decade, right?
Yeah, I've been at it.
And have you stayed in Philadelphia making music, or did you move there?
Well, I moved around actually. I lived in like 2012. I moved to New York. I lived there for a few years, and then I moved to the Netherlands for a few years and did music over there. And then then I moved back here and just been moving around throughout the U.S.
Damn. And then Christine, you hadn't released any music before you met him, right?
Yeah. I was working as a full-time music therapist, and I never intended to be a performer.
Damn. Wait, so how do you go from doing would you say backup harp music, backup harp vocals, to doing a full-on project then?
Well, it was one night, other band members didn't show up, and the show had to go on. And he was just like, do you sing? And I was like,
in the shower.
And I did for work, but it was in a different context, like singing children's songs and stuff like that. And then, so we improvised the whole show, and it went really well, and it flowed well.
Oh shit, that's wild.
Yeah.
Wait, I think I saw like a live performance you did when you were playing like a string instrument, Kuf, weren't you? Like.
Nah. I usually just do like on the laptop or MP. Like, I don't play any instruments. Though I'd love to learn. Right now I don't play any instruments.
What? Christine has to teach you then.
Yeah, exactly.
We're working on piano.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember one Christmas, my dad took me to Goodwill, and he didn't tell me or my brother that he was getting Christmas presents for us. He was like, just wait in the car. And then we're in the car. It was only like 20 minutes, but we took a nap, and we woke up because he was opening the trunk, And he's like, look ahead, don't look back. And he had fucking put like a full-on keyboard in the trunk. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, it's nothing, none of your business. And then like a couple months later, it was Christmas, and he's like, here's a keyboard. And I was like, I know I recognize that keyboard. But I've only.
Do you still play?
No, man. I played clarinet for a little. I played clarinet for like 7 years, and then I burned it. It was. Which might break a lot of people's hearts, but I'm not really into playing instruments. Like I had a good time. Well, I don't know if I had a good time playing the clarinet, but I felt like I was forced to. So to break my bonds of playing instruments, I burnt it, man. And
there you go, ceremony.
Yeah. So I'd love to learn more about your guys' backgrounds. Like, how'd you get started into hip hop, Kuf? Is it Kuf or Kuf? How do you?
Kuf.
Kuf.
Yep. I think I was inspired by my brother. I had an older brother, and he was real into hip hop, and I think I was inspired by that. And just in the household, my grandmother sang gospel music, so she was always singing in the house or in the kitchen, and like it just was something I was moved by and super interested in. So I tried to emulate my brother.
Damn, that's a huge ring you have on your finger, by the way.
Oh yeah. Someone in Pittsburgh made it and gave it to me when we were out there doing a show. It's crazy, right? It's huge.
like-
I'm going the wrong way.
It's like half a Thanos or whatever. You got the 2 rings.
Yeah, right.
Damn. And then you went to school, Christine. You went to school for music. Was that always something you knew you wanted to do, or?
Yeah, I started playing piano when I was really young, when I was 7. And then I went to college for music and music therapy. So I wanted to really pursue, I still do, but pursue music therapy. So within that, I played mostly piano and guitar. And I left harp to be like my creative outlet. So I actually play it a lot more, but I didn't have that. Piano is like that rigorous, like you were talking about, not so enjoyable hours of practicing.
Yeah.
I don't have those memories with the harp, so.
And how do you even pick up a harp, though? Like, I don't think that's like just something you go to.
Yeah, my middle school choir teacher, she said to me one time, because I would accompany the school choir in middle school, she was like, a harp is just like the piano, just on its side. You should really think about like playing it. And I was like, do people even play the harp anymore? Like, and she was like, exactly, that's why you should do it. And I thought about it, and my great grandma had left me money to get a piano, but I already had one, so I got a used harp, and I still have the same used harp, and now it's bringing me around the country and
Damn.
world.
Do you do any solo performances with your harp?
No.
Oh.
I mean, some weddings, like some little things here and there, but this project is really what like built my personal sound and like my voice and everything. So I think I would hope to put out an album someday of like just my own, but I don't know what that's going to look like yet.
I fucking forget this guy's name. He opened I saw Injury Reserve like last week, I think. I don't know if you guys know who Injury Reserve is, but their opener was this like maybe he's a hip hop artist, but it was like hip hop mixed with like punk, mixed with like emo, mixed with like screaming. It was very abstract, and he just looked very punk. He was this black guy, shaved head, very skinny, had hella piercings and tats, and then his companion with him was like this like cellist, and it was completely in a suit, older guy with a beard. Like it looks like he's been playing for like he looked like he was like in his like 50s, and the other guy looked like he was like in his 20s. and they were
Wow.
playing the most abstract music I'd ever seen. I was like, holy shit. So if it wasn't for that, I don't know if I could, before listening to your guys' music, picture a harpist and a hip hop artist performing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Do you know the name of that artist?
Fuck, I have to look at it. It was like, I feel like it was like Crenshaw or something. It was like a California street name, like
Okay,
Crenshaw
cool.
101 or something. I could look it up, but it was crazy. It was like the most, and like the cellist, it was almost like the cellist was like freestyling when they were doing it, and they were going crazy. And then at one point, the guy took out the hip hop artist took out a guitar, and was using whatever the thing is you use for the
Oh,
bow,
yeah.
and started using it on the guitar. And I
Oh,
was
wow.
like, holy fuck. It was the most, like, when you guys perform, what is it like? Are you guys abstract with it at all? Do you guys ever freestyle it? Like,
Yeah, well, like a lot of the set, Christine mainly is pretty much freestyling. She's improvising. There are some parts that are like, pretty consistent in different shows, but overall she's pretty much like improv in each show.
damn.
And then on my end, I usually just I do the beats and rhyme. Maybe there's one song where we do an improv, both of us, but yeah.
Isn't it weird to think that I feel like positivity could be niche?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's one of those things. For me, it's like, so I pull from what I grew up on and what I listened to then, and all of that was like, for the most part, positive. Even if it wasn't like, marketed positive, it still was like an uplifting, happy expression from these artists, and that was like their their outlook, and their outlet. And so like, I just feel like if you have a platform and you're putting something out, why not let it be positive?
Yeah, I think you released a project like 2015 as well, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it's cool.
Positive light.
Yeah, there we go. It's cool to see, like, I feel like it's so weird to feel like positivity is going against the grain, though.
I know, isn't that a strange thing?
It is. Yeah.
It's like, yo, you're being positive? Like, what, are you crazy? Who's gonna play that?
And it seems like you're more into. It doesn't seem like you release a lot of singles. Like, it feels like you're more into like the part of actually making an album. 'Cause it shows with the length of the album as well. Like, I feel like when an artist isn't going to release singles, but they make a longer album because I've been watching a lot of comedy also. Like, that's why a comedy special is usually like an hour long, because that's the only thing you're gonna hear from them, unless you're going to clubs, if they even do clubs, for the next couple of years. So is that kind of the approach you take with your album process?
Well, I think there's two things there. So for one, I'm just like, I'm super inspired by like, 90s hip hop and just that era and the long albums. Like as time went on, albums got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And now it's like most artists do just singles or a short 5-song EP. But between that stretch of when I released Positive Light up until when we released our project, I was on a label who was in control of the output of music, and I didn't want to put out any music under that label, so I had to wait. So I have like tons of unreleased music that I will, be putting out as singles and maybe EPs and stuff like that. But yeah, that was a big part of the pause.
Damn. Yeah. So, Christine, can you be on our label as a harpist, or how would that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm along for the mission, so I did a lot of work on this album.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would be dope though. Like when she's ready to do her own release. Like I think it'll be cool to see what from what she was influenced by, and then also pull from the hip hop that she's worked on now. It'd be cool to see what that release would be like.
Yeah, because you're a singer, so you're not just. I feel like I'm just saying you're a harpist. You're a beautiful singer as well.
Yeah,
Like it's.
amazing voice.
Thank you.
Is there any story behind you hearing her voice for the first time? Because I feel like when someone approaches a harpist, you don't expect them to be able to sing as well.
Yo, 100%. I'm like, so the show that she talked about where we had to, it was like we were forced to do it just on our own.
Yeah.
I'm like, so her voice, her speaking voice is like, it's kind of raspy and like, it's like, so I'm like, I know like there's gotta be like, her singing voice has to be like, it's gotta be interesting at the least, And so I'm like, can you sing? Have you ever sung? And she's like kid songs, And I'm like, all right, well, let's try it for this show. Since we're improvising the whole show anyway, like, what's the worst that can happen? And so I was like, when she sang, I was like, what? I couldn't act surprised in the middle of the show, but I was blown away. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then after that, I'm like, yo.
Damn, you're making her blush.
Yeah.
But what's something cool is like, it's also changed so much since 2018, like since this project took off. And I was able to, like, through COVID and everything, really, and this album, really spend time like kind of finding this balance of where I want to land with tone and timbre and everything.
Oh, those are some good words. I love those words, tone and timbre.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm coming into my actual, vocal sound now, which it's a little funny to listen to those videos like when we first started. Yeah.
Damn, that's cool though. So do you think COVID helped your guys' music, or was it like a struggle for your music?
I think it helped.
Definitely.
I think at first we just didn't do anything for the first couple of months, like really just didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden we got like a burst of inspiration and just like wanting to create, and yeah, being able to actually sit and work on it without having to worry about everything else, because everything was on pause. It really made for a good time for us to center in and focus on the music. It was cool.
So do you have like a home studio, or do you have to guys go to different studios to record, or how does that work for you guys?
We did a lot of like all the pre-production we did at home, like in a home studio, and then when it was time to like mix it and get all the sounds right, we took it to the studio.
Yeah, because I'm just still wondering about, like, do you drag the harp places, or how do you?
Yeah, that's like, yes, like like we have dragged that harp like through festival mud. Like people are like, oh, the stage is like, go through those trees, like up along there, like around that corner. And then like, you get there and they're like, oh, actually you're on this other stage. It's like, oh, okay, One of my dreams is to play in the New York subway. So that's on my bucket list.
Oh, have you guys seen that rat guy? The guy that dresses up as a rat in the subway?
No.
What?
You haven't seen that? There's a guy that like dresses up as a rat and like break dances and stuff, and just.
Oh wow!
What? Is it in New York?
Yeah, of course it's in New York. Fucking New York with their street performers,
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I can top that, but.
So, break down the what is that called when you're like breaking down like the syllables? Is it the syllables? or like the pronunciation of, like, that's for each song. You guys have like the pronunciation.
Oh yeah.
For the that's a tongue twister for some reason. For a community, it's the pronunciation of each word. Why is that?
Well, so I think that so I'm really into like visuals and how things look, and I also like writing. Like my writing's more like graffiti than anything. So I like the look of it, and then also I like the nostalgia of it, like being where it's like it's the phonetic spelling of each one, so it's just sounding the words out, you know. It looks crazy, it looks like a different language actually, but it's I thought it'd be cool to, but at the same time though, everyone's like, what the hell, what's that say, like what, you know.
It is a brain teaser for sure, because people like, you know, hesitate. They're like, oh, I really liked, you know, like the 5th song on the album. It's great. Like,
it was cool because I feel like each song though, you make sure to reference the title at least once. So then if, sometimes I'll be like, what the fuck? And at the very end, you'll be like, bruh. And I'm like, oh, there, that's the title. That's what
That's it.
when you put the CD in the car, it comes up as like not phonetics.
Oh, the regular stuff.
It comes up as the regular spelling, because we spent time putting all the phonetics when we coded the songs, and it just was like boxes and squares, and it wouldn't read it, and so that kind of is like the answer key, I guess.
I feel like Kuf needs a phonetics for his name then, because like I feel like everyone wants to say cuff. You need to put a phonetic or something, or whatever the accent.
I definitely do. I do. I did it on our website.
Yeah.
Next, I'll do it.
Like the 2
just
dots.
make it stick.
Yeah.
Oof.
and how did you get that name?
So Kuf is short for Kufi. And Kufi was a name that was given to me. It's West African, and it means born on a Friday, and it also means spiritual warrior. So yeah, I just cut that in half. And then Knotz is just like, I have dreads, like knotty hair, so
Very fancy. I recently learned, it's not in a bun right now, but I recently learned how to do buns.
Oh, nice.
So I feel very proud of that.
Yeah, I like the wild look.
Yeah. You got like the Sway in the Morning cap. I feel like you have to outdo Sway, because I feel like whenever anyone thinks of that, they think of like Bob Marley or Sway in the Morning. But
oh yeah. Also, like not anymore, but originally like 98 to maybe 2000 or something, or maybe before that, Black Thought from The Roots.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Have that.
Have you checked out his solo projects?
Oh, yeah. Amazing. Like super amazing.
Very good.
Yeah, they're dope. His latest project was really cool. I've been noticing a lot of I have a second podcast. It's a conspiracy podcast, and I happened to do an episode on pop punk and like the return of pop punk, and like how you're seeing like it's becoming like a mainstream sound again. Like even like Kanye West's album had it with like the Jail song. I felt like Black Thought actually had a little bit of pop punk on some of his songs too. It's crazy to see how that's making a return.
Everything cycles.
Yeah. You got a little punk vibes with you, man. You got like the industrial piercing and septum and.
Yeah, well, there was definitely a point where it wasn't pop punk, but I mean it was pop because it was popular. But you know, the Dead Kennedys, the Sex Pistols, like definitely had my my time with that.
I feel like you guys look so different, but I feel like you guys must both be hippies or something to connect. Because like you literally look completely like. I feel like Christine could maybe be like Amish even. you know, and then you're more on like the reggae pop punk guy.
Yeah.
I think the hippie vibe is like the middle ground that
Yeah,
meets.
that's
It's funny.
that's crazy. So you guys have known each other for 3 years now. That's
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels longer, but then also it doesn't even feel like that long. Like 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow. And 2020 was kind of like, yeah.
That was. Nobody saw anybody.
Zoom probably made the most amount of money out of over
Yeah.
Netflix
Right?
and everything. Like,
Yo, for real. And it's funny, Christine's always like talking about how like Zoom stole the thunder from like
Skype.
Oh,
Poor
yeah.
Skype. Like, they're like everything was like Skype, and then they lost it. I guess because you can't have multiple people in the meeting on Skype.
and Skype calls like always drop for some reason. You could have the best service in the world, and it'll just drop. But I think when you have to pay, because for like Zoom, at least if you want over 30 minutes, you have to like pay a subscription. So I feel like
Right.
once you start paying a subscription, they purposely make it so you have better quality.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So who do you think knows each other better? Do you think you guys know each other equally the same, or
That's a good question.
That is a good question. There's always more to learn, but I feel like since I think that we've been on the road for 2 years before COVID, like literally on the road.
Yeah.
To Nova Scotia, to Alaska, to all across, like everywhere. And during that time, when you're on the road, as someone, you learn a lot.
damn? Even
Yeah.
so, that's all for touring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
You're in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a West Coast.
Yeah,
we
we
were in
did.
Seattle.
What? When were you in Seattle?
Before Thanksgiving, before
It was 2019.
19, yeah.
Yep.
Oh
It was
shit!
like Thanksgiving to Christmas. We did a month-long West Coast tour all the way from Seattle to San Diego.
Yeah. Is the Sea Monster in Seattle?
Yes.
Sea Monster,
We-
the Kraken?
Sea Monster Lounge.
Sea Monster Lounge.
Oh shit! There's a Sea Monster Lounge. Believe it or not, I just turned 21 on November 10th, so it just happened. So
nice.
I'm only now starting to learn more about like bars and lounges. And,
Yeah.
Nice.
but
Yeah, there's a cool spot called Sea Monster Lounge.
Yeah, it has like crazy neon paintings in it and like black light.
oh shit!
Yeah, it was a pretty cool spot. And there was carpet on the stage. It's like a
yeah.
shag carpet
Oh
stage.
shit!
Yeah.
This better be in Seattle. If this isn't, I'm gonna be disappointed.
I just remembered that.
Damn, that's great. So have you ever not played the harp sober? Like, have you ever been on stage just playing like going crazy with it, or like I feel like that would be the place to do it on a
Yeah.
shag carpet. Just going,
I feel like on every single stage I've played on, I can say that I have been sober.
there we go.
As boring as that may sound, fully present, ready to react.
I feel like Kuf smokes weed. You just look like a stoner guy.
I may have in Amsterdam. When I lived in Amsterdam, I might have
Oh shit! Don't they have like cafes? They have like weed
yeah,
cafes.
it's definitely part of the culture there.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it was like, so I like, yeah, it just was really part of the culture, and just was like, yeah, you get tea, you get orange juice, and smoke a joint.
That sounds very nice. So how do you guys go about like setting up a tour? So like if Christine hasn't released music before and she's a harpist, and then of course you've been performing for a long time, so I guess it's just through the connections you made, or like how do you go about setting up a tour like that? Because like I know so many up and coming artists in Seattle even who've been making music for maybe like even a decade plus, maybe similar amount of time as you, and they've never been able to tour outside of Seattle even.
So I think it's a mix of like definitely like some connects I made, but also us really. So Christine is like one of the like extra things she brings to the project is that she's very like business minded and very into like, you know,
systems.
Systems, making lists, doing this and that. So together, you know, we're able to reach out to different people, different booking agents, different talent buyers. And then we have a friend with us, Mike, who also like helps us, you know, book and set it up. But like all the routes and we'll be here at this time, we'll do this and that. Like Christine is like that. She like enjoys doing that. So that's super awesome.
You're like an event planner.
Yeah. So usually we get like one anchor show, and then that will set the stage or whatever. And then kind of realistically sitting on MapQuest or Google Maps for like one whole night, thinking what's 2 hours or 4 hours, what are big cities, and then just like blasting those cities or looking into like his connects or just the connects that we have, and building it, going out and back from that one show.
Damn. And how do you guys make sure that people show up?
A lot of promo.
Yeah.
And then also like, if feasible, like linking up with artists that are local to that area and have a good following. You know, you can do a show trade with them, or like a lot of times, you know, artists understand, you know, the drive and when you're on the road, like it's kind of like artists look out for each other, because if you don't look out for each other, no one's going to, you know. So I think like artists know like, all right, they're coming from out of town, like we don't want them to play on an empty venue, so we'll have them open and hopefully they can, you know, people show up early to check out the openers.
That sounds pretty cool though. You know?
Yeah. It's cool.
I feel like we're like in a weird. It seems like a lot of companies are making a change too. You know, like how like YouTube and Instagram are like taking away like likes and stuff like that. I feel like I hope we get. I don't think we can really do it that much in the music industry, but it would be interesting to see if like they take away like people being able to see like streaming numbers and things for artists, because I feel like even like local artists hold each other to like different standards if they see someone has more streams. I'm like, if you like the music, why don't you just go on tour with them or anything like that?
It's very true. That was like, you know, that was a big thing when it first was like, I'll say like 2 or 3 years ago, like literally a lot of venues would solely book artists off of those numbers. And then what was happening at some, you know, a lot of times these artists would come up, but those numbers didn't necessarily transfer for live shows. So it's like, you know, you might have 1 million streams or 1 million followers on one social media outlet, but it doesn't necessarily, you know, and for a long time, like these were the artists that were getting, you know, booked and chosen over someone who might not have as much streams, but actually has built a grassroots following and had, you know. So it's one of those weird things. Yeah, I hope that just like it's doing that for YouTube and all, like I hope that transfers as well.
I've been stepping into like the comedy world a little bit, and a big thing a lot of comedians talk about is like how people get this massive like TikTok following, and because a lot of people on TikTok are considered comedians. I don't know. I don't know why I want to keep saying. So it's comedy, but it's comedian. the ends. You know? It should be like comedy ends. But like, so these people on TikTok will actually start going to shows and like booking shows, and they're like, you're letting these TikTok artists or comedians book at venues, even though that doesn't really transfer over to live audiences all the time.
Right.
And what was also interesting, the first album for this project that we released, we never put it out on any like Spotify or any platforms, and we just sold it at shows. And it was interesting because like it seems like they're two different avenues. Like we spent so much time in those 2 years focusing on playing out and traveling that there wasn't really that much time to like build that. And we sold out of our CDs, which is pretty crazy because people just like wanted to show support also if they didn't have a CD player anymore. But like, so like it's such a different now that we kind of have those connects now, like it's easier. This album was put on all the platforms, was more, you know, geared to thinking about building numbers in that way.
Yeah, there's just no one right way to go about it though. Like even you'll see like cover bands who make a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, it's very true.
They never put anything on streaming services because you can't. I don't know if you really can make a living off footage.
Very true.
It's
no rhyme or reason.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys? Are you doing another tour or anything or?
Yeah, we aim to tour as much as possible. It's been a little, you know, difficult navigating everything now with COVID going on. Even though some of the restrictions were pulled back, when they got pulled back, we went out and like we did a run to Colorado, recently a run to Indiana and back. So like it's really day to day figuring out what we can do and what's available due to the restrictions. But yeah, as much as we can, we're gonna be out on the road performing. We want to come back to the West Coast.
Come to Seattle.
Good vibes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about COVID though? Do you think it's something that's here to stay, or do you think it's getting better? Or
I hope.
I'm gonna say it's not here to stay because like it can't stay.
It can't stay.
We gotta move forward.
It's wearing out its welcome.
Yeah. Forward is the motion. Like. You know.
Yeah, I look forward to there being a day where we can say, yo, you remember that like time period when there was COVID? That was crazy, you know?
Or just the end of the world. Maybe we're all just gonna die like the dinosaurs. That's positive, right?
Yeah. What do you think about COVID?
Oh, I did a conspiracy podcast. It was like my third. I have 2 podcasts, right? And the main one, the NAST podcast, I do like at least 3 interviews a week. But then for my this is funny, my conspiracy podcast, it's called the BBC podcast, which stands for Blake Burton and Brian Barnett Conspiracies. It's a very clever title, and the third episode we did conspiracies on like COVID and how and like everything we predicted with COVID has happened so far. So I feel like we have to do a part 2, and I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's gonna stay like the flu, you know, but it's definitely dead. It's worse than the flu, of course, but I feel like it's gonna stay until I think it's here to stay. I think so. Like we might be able to get better vaccines or solutions, but I don't think it's ever going to go away. And then, if you think about it, I don't know if you. So, if you think about it, you know, there's a global warming going on, right? So, with global warming, the ice caps are melting, and in the ice caps, there's frozen diseases. So, the coronavirus is the least of our worries. Because then all these prehistoric diseases are going to come out. And, you know, so.
Oh, man.
Positivity.
I think Mars is sounding like a good spot to go now.
I think Seattle's fine. We got all the tech people, so I just need to interview Jeff Bezos, and then I'm good to go. To
There you
Mars. Well, guys, do you guys have any advice for up and coming artists, creators, influencers? I know you guys were talking about touring. I think that's actually just even you guys talking about the steps you took is very inspirational and like helps other artists figure out what to do. But if
For
you have
sure.
anything else to say, we'd love to hear it.
I would say always, as much as possible, work on your craft in improving, because like we always talk about like being forever students and like always learning, and so I would say really practice your craft, and if it's a lane that you choose to take, you have to pour all of yourself into that.
And I think you're going to run into challenges regardless. Like that's a part of any journey that you take. And those challenges really end up being invitations to grow and be stronger. So kind of just hanging on through those waves of challenging moments to then get to the other side of them, I know has helped me continue to grow,
Hell yeah. And positivity for the win. Oh, have you guys checked out, what Big Grams is? Like Fantagram and Big Boy from Outkast made an album called Big Grams.
What?
You guys should check it out. It came out a few years ago, but
I'm definitely going to check that
anytime I
out.
see like two different genres coming together to make an album, you should check it. It's such a good product. Maybe it'll inspire you guys. It has a little bit of EDM in it too. Like
Definitely. I'm going to check that out and the other artists you talked about.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you that. I'll follow you and send you that guy's name. It was crazy. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on. I highly enjoyed the album. Actually, it's a long album, so each of you name one song that you recommend people check out.
I would say Active.
Ooh, Active.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you feel like dancing.
I would say Kingdom.
Yes.
Wait, what's the song that you're like, oh, this sounds like some Motown music?
Oh yeah, Real Love.
Real Love.
That's my favorite one because Motown's actually my favorite music, honestly. So.
Oh wow, wow, that's super. So did your parents play that, or
a mixture of that, but also I think the main thing is that I just have like such a deep love and respect for hip hop that if you really want to understand hip hop, you have to listen to the sampling and where it came from.
It's very true. Nice.
On the road, sometimes that's like our funnest time killer is I say, name a song. And then I'll look up all the samples and then we'll listen to the original songs and try to see if we can find where the sample is.
Oh, shit.
Pretty cool.
You guys
haven't asked for it.
You need to check out the Kanye. Do you know what the Dissect podcast is on Spotify?
No.
So it's like an actual Spotify podcast. So they have they can use any music they need to on it.
Cool.
So each season they break down an album, and currently they're breaking down, I forget which album it is. I think it's Mac Miller's Circles album, or is it?
Oh, nice.
One of the Circles is the last. Is that the last one he just did? What's the one he did right before he passed away? I think they might have been Swimming. I think it was Swimming. It was Swimming, and then after he passed away, it was another one called Circles, and together it was a double album that was supposed to be called Swimming in Circles. But
wow.
it's a cool project. But anyways, they did one on Kanye West on the Yeezus project. And
wow.
It actually, because Kanye is actually such a crazy producer. I don't know if I really love his rapping that much. I think anyone would say he's the best rapper, but he's a pretty good producer, So, when you can look it up on YouTube, the Dissect podcast, and they were breaking down the Yeezus album and how, like, even without any of the hip hop or anything, the samples alone were used to drive the story forward. So it was,
wow.
it was like, because Yeezus is actually a concept album, which I didn't realize until watching the podcast.
Oh wow, I'm gonna check that.
Yeah, I'll send you all these links.
Yeah, please do.
There we go. But yeah, what's the easiest way for people to reach out to you and follow you?
Our website, it go by Kuf Knotz, KUFKNOTZ.com. My Instagram is Christine Elise Harp.
Yep, and I'm everything is at Kuf Knotz.
Cool.
Yeah, if you go to the website, it's like a hub. You can get to everything from there.
Hell yeah. And we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes,
this
for
was
sure.
awesome.
Of course. This is the NAST pod. I'll start with Kuf, you say it, and then you can, Christine, you'll say it. So it's like, this is the NAST podcast with
Kuf Knotz.
And Christine Elise.
And we did it. Awesome, guys.